I'm Summer Huntington of Steel Mace Vinyasa and Shala, and today I'll be talking about how staffs, steel mace, and clubs are interconnected. So today I'm out at our 6-day training retreat in Richland, Washington. Mark Wildman and I have been hosting these events, these live events, taking everyday people through staff work, steel mace work, and club work for going on 5 years now. This concept is something that's really not often studied and really not often taught. Most times when you are teaching or learning martial arts, you're not really making hand-to-hand combat right away. Now we take a different approach. Mark is definitely a professional. He takes everyday people that have no staff experience, no hand-to-hand combat experience, puts a weapon in their hands and teaches them primal movement patterns, the things that make us human, which are essentially blocking, striking, throwing patterns. We can use leverage tools. We have opposable thumbs for a reason, so that we can throw things, defend ourselves. We can strike things. It could be wood, could be a human. We can strike things, which is a casting pattern. Striking and blocking patterns. Blocking patterns. So a lot of folks, they pick up a mace and it can be a really fun like juggling tool. We can twirl it around and kind of hold it by the globe and get really fancy with our sweet little twirly twirlies. But as you can see, the primal movement patterns that mace and leveraged tools, mace and clubs, were actually meant for were violence. And so we take a slightly different approach. We integrate throwing patterns, downward striking patterns, punching patterns, upward striking patterns, throwing patterns, two-handed throwing patterns, upward striking patterns, throwing patterns, traveling upward striking patterns, footwork, and occasionally we'll get a fancy move in there, but generally what you're going to see from Mark and I is that we're using the tools in the way that they were meant to be used, which is to throw, block, throw, and strike. Let's take a look at the club. You're going to hear lots of noise in the background here from our athletes. We have 25 athletes at this event. This is our biggest training retreat so far. Costa Rica, there's about 6 spots left as of today. There'll probably be, I think our cap is 20. And then Bali, it's gonna be uncapped. We can go up to 50 people. So what you're going to notice is that when you're training with your staff, you're gonna be moving really quick. Fast striking patterns, fast blocking patterns, you're getting up really quickly. When you're using a mace, it might be slowed down a little bit, but we're still working a lot of fast twitch. Now the difference is when you're working with clubs, things have to slow down because it's such a heavier tool. You really have to own the physics, own the leverage with the tool. So for me, if I'm doing a casting pattern with a 25-pound club, I'm really just keeping the footwork mellow so that I can handle my load. I can build my absolute strength in that entire range of motion. I don't tend to do a ton of blocks with the club, although you can. Again, here I'm using that, I'm creating absolute strength, increasing my ability to bear heavier load, and eventually that will help increase my power. Throwing patterns can absolutely be done with a club as well. So a 360 is actually a two-handed throwing pattern. Let's see what that looks like. We pull it into order. Back position, swing, semicircle, order. This is two-handed throwing. From the backside. Always place your tool down in a spine intelligent way. So we often get the question, what should I train if I'm coming out to a retreat? How can I prepare for this? Steel Mace Vinyasa is going to cover all of your casting patterns and your blocking patterns. Heavy club work is going to build absolute strength for those casting patterns and for the lifting patterns as well as the two-handed throw and the single-handed throw. And even if you have no experience with staff, which most of our athletes don't have, by training, cross-training with your clubs and your still Mace Vinyasa, you're going to come more prepared than you actually think, because it's all training in your nervous system. You're going to find that all of these patterns you've been training with load, hopefully for months, if not years, and then when you get into a hand-to-hand combat scenario where you're striking, blocking, doing your one-to-one work, you see how all of these movements absolutely cross over to the club. So why do we do these things? We want humans to understand their biomechanics and the things that make them human. Human movement, primal movement patterns, striking, blocking, throwing, lifting, casting, these are what our shoulders are meant to do. These are what our arms are meant to do. When we develop this competence, this high-level competence of really mastering these skills, we go into better nervous system regulation, we build resilience. If there's unresolved trauma in the nervous system, I consider this kind of like exposure therapy to actually help somebody self-regulate better. So your confidence goes up, your competency goes up, your athleticism goes up, and you just feel more human. So I hope you enjoy this video, hope you learned something. Come see us at a live event or check out one of the programs.